Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. Let me just make sure that that's working. My name's Donovan. Today I'm going to be talking about the South African Super Rugby sides, because obviously we are coming up to Super Rugby. So obviously we've got the 4 sides. Just what I think what their chances are going to be, where I think they'll make it, quarterfinals, semi-finals, maybe even a final. I'm going to try not to be very biased, but I'll try not favour one team or the other. So I'll start off with the Stormers. I don't know. I never understand the Stormers. On paper, they should be the most amazing side. Ribbie Fleck has got essentially a Springbok type 5. So he's got Stephen Kitsoff, Bongium Nambi, Frans Malherbe, Eben Etzebeth, and Peter Steph du Toit. And then obviously he's got Wilco Low, that's backup for that. He's got Sia Khaleesi. We've got Damian Willemse in the back line, Dylan Lates. You know, this is essentially a team that's packed with talent. I think Ruan Nel also plays for the Stormers. So Ribbie Fleck has been talking every single year about that it's going to be growth. It's a growth year. That's it. It's done. There's no more growth years. This is the time. He has to pull it out. And if you've got a Springbok type 5, that should hold you in good stead to play the kind of rugby that can take Super Rugby. So I'm expecting them to make the semis. That must be their goal, to make the semis this year. If not, then yeah, there's something wrong, and it's time to start looking for, because obviously now even Etzebeth's going to be leaving. I've got a feeling that one or two, the hooker or the prop may be going after the World Cup. So yeah, I think after the World Cup we're going to be losing a lot of players. So it's now or never. You know, they have to make the semis. If they don't make the semis, then it's time to find a new coach, or maybe Ribbie Fleck needs to look for a different kind of attack coach or a defence coach, or maybe even a forwards coach. That might be even more important. Then we'll go carrying along the coast. We start looking at the Sharks. The same deal for the Sharks. The Sharks were the only side, I think they beat 4 of the 5 New Zealand sides last year. That's the only team that's actually did that. So I think they play the style of rugby that is the most abrasive against a New Zealand side or the other sides, because normally Super Rugby is quite expansive, whereas with Robert Dupree, who's probably going to be going after this Super Rugby season to go play at Sale. There's quite a few players. I think all the Duprees are going to be going fairly soon. You can't blame them. These guys are going to earn big money overseas, and they're not on the radar for the Springboks. So what's the point of staying? The Beast, obviously, we've got great experience. We've got Aka van der Merwe, exceptional hooker. Then we've got Thomas du Toit. So obviously they've got a world class, well, not a world class, but they've got a Springbok kind of level front row. I know they'll lock, but I'll come back to that. Then in their backline they've got Lukonya Arm, who's exceptional. He's an exceptional centre. For me, probably one of the best centres in the country, and has to be a shoo-in for the World Cup, because he not only is he good on attack and defence, but the guy just he understands space. He understands when to have the lines, when to pass, and probably the most intelligent centre rugby player that we have. He's not just one of those Basham players like Damon Delende or Jesse Krill. I like Jesse Krill, but he's also going to be going fairly soon. They've got Makazola and Pimpi on one of the wings, Sabun Korsi on the other wing, who's also exceptional, and then I can never remember that young guy. He's the fullback, Gordon's favourite player. So looking at him, looking at the Sharks, they also have to, but they're also one of those teams. They win one week, lose one week. They're like the Springboks, So I hope Robert Dupree can settle down that side and give them the kind of because theoretically the way that they play, their goal should be to make a final. It's just the way that they play. It's scoreboard pressure, it's phase play, it's forward play, it's over the gain line. It's not that traditional Southern Hemisphere style, or the style that everyone's trying to emulate from New Zealand. So I feel that they've got the best chance. Last year I thought they had the best chance and they didn't, but I feel that they have the best chance of actually making a final for the first actually they haven't made a final since 07 against, or they may have made it other years, but. And then we go up to Gauteng, and we're talking with the Lions. The Lions have obviously been the strongest South African side for the last couple of years. They've just lost Franco Mostert, they lost Jaco Kriel, they lost Faf, they lost Ruan Dreyer. They're bleeding players. They still have a few core players. Malcolm Marx. I think they might be lacking a few props. I think Marvin Ory's a pretty good lock. Looking at their back, Kwagga Smith is exceptional. He's very, very good. Warren Whiteley's an excellent number 8. I hope he's not injured. Going in their back row, I think they've got a problem at 9. 10, Elton Jantjies is very, very good. I think he plays very, very well for the Lions. He's an excellent tactical ticket. He really understands space and tactics with the Lions. But I've got a feeling that they're not going to make the finals this year. I think they should hopefully make it to the semis. That should be their goal, to make it to the semis. But I think we're losing Franco Mostert, who's an exceptional work rate kind of player. He's always got the top tackles. He's always off the ball, and he was a big loss to the Lions, bigger than any other player that they've lost recently, except maybe Faf. Then we go to my team, the Bulls. The Bulls that probably have recruited the best over the off season. I think they were the only franchise that actually had money. Thank you, John Mitchell, for leaving and getting out £200,000 from England Rugby. But they seem to have the cash to be able to splurge out on the players, and they obviously brought in Dwayne Vermeulen, who I from my last video, you know that I rate him as one of the best forwards in the world. I thought he would be captain, but they've actually made Loert de Jager the captain, and he also he's an exceptional lock forward. Probably one of our best lock forwards in the country. And I know it used to be Eben, but I still think Loert's on another level. The guys also offload, very Brodie Retallick-like, not Brodie Retallick, but like. They've got Achia Snyman, excellent, another excellent lock. Marco van Staden, I think he's still playing. Yeah, he's still playing as one of the flankers. I'm not sure about their props. I know they had a few issues with the props, but obviously they got Skalk Britson to come in. I don't think he's going to play more than one season, but I like the fact that he's bringing back intellectual property back to South Africa. It's super important that we get that knowledge back. And he was saying, because there was an interesting article with him, they were saying he was hoping that he had actually gone up north a lot earlier, and I tend to agree with him, because a tight 5 play in the northern hemisphere is a lot different to the southern hemisphere. It is about set pieces, it is about lineouts, it is about scrums, it is about that one of running and gain line success. So it does create better front row players playing up north. So it would be nice that we send them up north when they're young. When they start peaking at about 26, 27, they come back to South Africa and start playing for South Africa. But it'd be really nice if these top players like Bismarck comes back and he imparts that IP intellectual property that we would lose from an exceptional hooker like that. He can bring that back to the country. Cheslin Colby can bring back knowledge. So Faf can bring back knowledge. So they play overseas, they get the experience, and good on them. They're making money, and that's the best. But let's get back to the Bulls. They got Warwick Galant in the back line, got Andre Pollard, Emirates Papier. The thing now, for me, looking at the way that they've recruited, but the point is they've got a new coach, and there's been a lot of changes at the Bulls. And looking at their team on paper, if their coach was the same, say John Mitchell, I would have wanted them to make a semi, but I think they would be happy to make a quarter final. They haven't made it for quite a while, if they make it into the knockout stages. So it would be nice if they finished the South African pool maybe second, maybe third. That would be a great improvement for the Bulls. It would show that Putuheman is the right kind of coach for the Bulls. But yeah, I think there's going to be a vast improvement. I think we've turned the corner with South African rugby. I think the Springboks are starting to fire on all cylinders, and I feel that's going to filter down into actually. Russie's going to be helping with the coaching at the Bulls. I think they're going to be testing a lot of their defensive patterns and stuff like that with the Bulls. It's probably the closest side to that. So, but yeah. So in wrapping it up, I think the goal for all the sides should be to make the semis at least. Only the Sharks, I feel, should, going on their past success and that they haven't really lost that many players, they should look at going after a final. Except for the Bulls, I think probably make the knockouts. If they make the semis, then it's been an exceptional year for them. But here's hoping that we have another South African team in the final. And I'm also hoping, I'm really hoping this year that we're not in a situation that if we actually took the points, that the top 4 teams are New Zealand sides and then the rest are made up by the other teams. But we obviously get second place because of our conference system. It would be nice to still have that in the conference system, but we actually warrant having the second place and having the third place and having the fourth place. It will just show that rugby in the Southern Hemisphere is improving. Maybe not everywhere, but at least in South Africa it's improving. But listen, guys, please put down your predictions down below for the 4 South African sides. What I'll do is I'll do another video on next week. I'll do another video on, say, New Zealand, and then I'll do one on Australia, and then Argentina and the Sunwolves. But this week is just about the South African sides. Where do you think they're going to be? How they're going to do this year in the Super Rugby? And listen, guys, I hope you guys have a great week. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.